everybody, what's up? My name is Amanda. Welcome to my channel. For today's video, I have my second of 3 plant purchases that I made before I went out of town for Thanksgiving. This one is from the Green Escape. Now I know that there are some opinions when it comes to the Green Escape on Etsy. I personally feel like I know what I'm getting into when I purchase from the Green Escape. Like, for example, I purchased from 3 different Etsy shops before I went out of town, and I only messaged the other 2 shops to say, hey, can you place those on hold? Because I knew that the Green Escape, it would take forever for it to get here anyways. So I placed this order the Friday before the week of Thanksgiving. I'll put the date up on the screen, but today is the 5th and it just barely got here. So I didn't ask them to hold it, I didn't ask them to do anything, and it's still arriving in line with the other 2 plant shops. I'm really excited for the plants that are in here, so I'm gonna go ahead and open it. So if you've never purchased from the Green Escape before, they do include this inside of their order. It lets you know who picked your order and then who packaged your order, and then it just has some care tips on the back. So here is what it looks like when you get the winter shipping insurance. This is my heat pack, and then there's just a lot more like paper and insulation inside of the box. Ooh. Okay, so here is the first one. So again, this is that winter shipping insurance if you've never done it before. I did purchase a lot of plants last year from the Green Escape last winter, and I used their winter shipping insurance, and every single one of the plants that I purchased did arrive alive. So it's really good if you see a plant or there's a really good deal. Again, I would just be a little open-minded, so you may need to rehab the plant a little bit. Oh no, the paper's wet. That's not a good sign. I don't know if you can see, but it's like the tissue paper is wet. So hopefully that means nothing. So let's see. There are 3 plants in here, I believe. Oh yeah, this is wet. Another tip if you're purchasing from the Green Escape, I know that they have a lot of like those plugs on their website, starter plants, but unless you are very experienced with growing, I don't know, baby plants, like something from corms or propagating plants and having a lot of success, I would just, when you go to their shop, type in pot in the search bar, and then that way you'll see everything that's available in like a 2 to 6 inch specimen. So it just gives you a better chance at having a quality specimen arrive because they're going to be a little bit more established. So this one right here is a 4-inch pot. This is an Anthurium fingers, parade. I'm not even gonna try to say it, but I'll put it up on the screen, the scientific name. I have had one of these before from the Green Escape, and it was a starter plant, and it just arrived to me, and it was like all wilted. The leaf fell off in a couple of days, and it didn't have good chances. So they had a really good sale for Black Friday, so I purchased it again. But yeah, this is wet. I don't know if you can see the soil, but it is like soaking wet in there. So I'm going to take this out of the soil just to make sure that it doesn't get like rot or anything. I also will spray this off with Castile soap. But yeah, I love this Anthurium. Anthuriums are a plant. I think I only have 2 Anthuriums. So I'm really looking to grow my collection this year with Anthurium. But so this is, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leaves on this plant, and this is the only cute one. So this one is like browning. This one is probably an old leaf that just looks like it's getting ready to fall off. This one, the finger is missing. And then this one, I guess, is just normal too. But that's what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna need to remove this from the soil. It probably has a soil plug as well, and move this over into like Molly's mix. I do really prefer her aeroid mix for the Anthuriums that I currently have, and just give this a good spritz down to make sure that there's no friends coming into my home to get to my other plants. Oh, is there another plant in here? Oh, yes. Okay, this one is super wet too. Awesome. So this one is an Anthurium that it's a hybrid, and I've never owned a hybrid Anthurium before. So I saw this and it looks so cute. So I Googled like the mature version of it, and it looks so cool when it's big. So I'm excited for this one too. I do not know how to pronounce it. Pinkeray and Forgetty Eye? I don't know. I can't tell if that's a, let's say pink leg. I have no idea. I'll put it up on the screen. Oh. So this one you can see the moisture on the plant, like they're literally wet. So that's not a good sign. I'll definitely need to clean these off and just make sure that they're not sitting in any moisture, but I need to take them out of the substrate because it's pretty wet. So this one is a small plant, but this is a 2-inch size from them. So the plugs, if you've never purchased from them, the plugs are a lot smaller than this. It does have a pretty good root system, it looks like, just poking out from in here. So besides it being really wet, I think that it's okay. But here is probably the closest leaf. It doesn't necessarily look like a Delta Force. I mean, in the immature state, it kind of does, but it's like a ruffly leaf. I don't know if that's a specific type of anthurium to have like a ruffled edge, but that's what this one is. I'm really excited. If I can find a picture too of like a mature one, I'll put it up on the screen so you guys can see what I'm talking about, along with the name. Okay, and then the last one is another one that I have owned before. But this is when I was first like really getting into purchasing plants online, and I was buying things from Etsy more often. So this one is in its own installation as well. And I traded it with somebody for a couple of syngoniums. And I don't know, I just didn't really understand anthuriums. I didn't think that I'd be able to care for it. So yeah, I sold it for something that I knew how to care for. And ever since I have realized what I did, I wanted to get this plant back in my collection. This one looks like it's fairly big. There's a lot of tissue paper around this one. So the anthurium fingers and this one right here, I bought in a 4-inch size, and then that little pinky hybrid one, I purchased as a 2-inch. But yeah, see, I just don't understand why these are all so wet. Like, what does that mean? But this is an Anthurium clarinervium. So I'm really excited to have a clary. I did have one before. Has a pretty good root system on the top here. And it looks like it has some pretty good leaves. And then this right here, I always get worried that there's a fungal issue, which is why I kind of treat the Green Escape as, yes, I'm purchasing the plant, but I know that I'm getting into like a rehab situation. I think kind of the same mindset you have to have when you're importing plants. You have to know how to care for those plants. When they come in, you can reestablish them back to being able to thrive and continue to grow. It's kind of the same thing from the Green Escape, in my opinion. And maybe that's just because I live in Utah and they're in Florida and the plants have to travel for so long. I'm not sure. I've never had wet plants from them though before. But when I did order my Alocasia Frydek from them, it came as a 6-inch specimen, and all of the leaves fell off because it had a fungal infection. And so when I sent them the pictures, they said that it wasn't anything fungal, and they basically just told me to deal with it, I guess. So it does make me worry with this one that I'm going to experience the same thing again. So I'm definitely going to take these upstairs in my bathtub, spray them off with some fungicide and some Castile soap, just to make sure that there's nothing that's going to spread to my collection, and repot them from the soil as well. Normally I don't repot a plant even when the soil isn't the greatest right away, but where these are literally soaking wet, like sitting in something, I don't want them to rot. And this one definitely needs to be in a higher pot anyways because all of those roots that are growing up. So yeah, a little bit of a bummer that I kind of need to rehab all of them. I was thinking I was only gonna have to rehab one, but it's okay, I guess. I knew what I was getting into. There is a new growth point on this clary right here, so that's fun. It shows that it's not sick or dying or anything. Just needs a little something something, you know, needs a little care, which is fine. And I didn't mean to make this be like the most Debbie Downer video of like the Green Escape, so I apologize if that's how it came across. I just want to be realistic that if you've never bought from the Green Escape before and you go in and you find a couple of starter plants and you're like, oh my gosh, these are such a great deal, like just know that it's going to be a very, very small specimen and it won't arrive in like perfect condition. I've never had any order that I've placed from them have like a pristine plant. So it's not bad, it's just there is more work. There's more of an investment with plants from the Green Escape. So that's all I'm trying to get across. I obviously continue to purchase from them, so they have good specimens. They just need a little bit of care up front. But yeah, I'm really excited for these two. These I feel like are classic anthuriums, the anthurium fingers and the clary. So I'm really excited to have them in my collection. I hope that it doesn't die all the way back, but it just looks like it's one leaf. So I may unfortunately have to clip off this one. I don't know, do you think that's fungal? It just doesn't look like it's browning since it's not on the tips. It's like inside of the leaves. I don't know. I guess I'll decide when I go upstairs what I want to do with it, but that is the largest leaf on here. So that's kind of a bummer. So a little disappointing plant mail. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't think that they would be like wet and potential fungal issue, but it's okay. I do this to myself every time I purchase from the Green Escape. So I'm just gonna go upstairs, treat them. I'm gonna take them out of their substrate and put them into stratum. And then I did buy myself a couple of those like clear acrylic purse display boxes. I've seen a lot of people using those as like little humidity domes. So I decided I would try a couple of them to see if they'd work as like quarantining new plants before I put them in my collection. So these ones will definitely be quarantined, so whatever they have doesn't spread to any of my other plants. Thank you for hanging out with me. I know that these plants were nothing to write home about, and the specimens weren't even something extraordinary to look at, but I do appreciate you spending your time with me and watching me unbox my plants. I do have 2 more plants that are coming, 2 more anthuriums. I'm really excited about them. One of them I've wanted all of 2024, so I'm really happy that I found a specimen that fulfilled my wish list needs, and it should be here within the next couple of days. If you'd like to follow along with my planting journey and see all of the plant purchases that I continue to buy, make sure that you hit the notification button down at the bottom and like this video to let me know that this is something that you're interested in, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.